Okay, I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute, we just made another video talking about the Ottawa Senators trading, but hey, Steve Staios is going out there and wheeling and dealing, as the first reply from Jamie goes out there and says, the Ottawa Senators have made themselves a second trade on the day, and this is one that when I saw the notification, I read the tweet, I saw the player involved, I was like, wait a minute, hold up, the Ottawa Senators are kind of cooking here. The Sens have acquired forward Jamieson Rees from the Carolina Hurricanes in exchange for their own 6th-round pick in 2024. In the third of a 3-year ELC, Jamieson Rees has registered 4 points, 4 assists over 37 games in 23-24 with the Thunderbirds and the Charlotte Checkers. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, Lego, what are you talking about? Wheeling and dealing? Why is this such a big deal? The Sens just gave up a 6th-round pick to get a guy who's only got 4 points in 37 games in the AHL this year. What are you doing? And yes, I get it, the numbers don't look great. The numbers, honestly, if we're being honest, I mean, these numbers suck. 1 point, 7 games played, 3 points, 30 games played in the AHL, but with all the context involved here, it makes this situation look a lot better for the Ottawa Senators. Why? Here's why. Jamieson Rees was a former 2nd-round pick taken by the Carolina Hurricanes in the 2019 NHL Draft. 5'11", 172-pound, left-handed center, 23 years old, and when he was drafted in 2019, there were some outlets that actually kind of thought he could have been higher up there. TSN and Bob McKenzie had him in the 32nd overall spot, so just at the very end of the first round. And if you look at what Rees was doing in the OHL in his draft-eligible year, he had 32 points in 37 games played and was over a point per game for Team Canada at the under-18s. The next year, Rees had 61 points in 39 Sarnia Sting games, really propelling himself to one of the top tiers of Carolina Hurricanes prospects. You can read some of the scouting reports on here. He's a forward who plays with great intensity, he's a great team player who works hard, and despite his rather modest frame, he gets involved physically, he's good with the puck, and he is a capable playmaker. He's a highly skilled player with a compete level that is just as good and can score and kill penalties. Jamieson Rees looks to make highly technical no-look passes around the goal line, and he can find his teammates through tight seams in heavy traffic. He's a player with good puck skills and high hockey IQ, but his big draw for scouts is his pure speed. A smooth skating, playmaking forward who can carry the puck on a string. Jamieson Rees was more of this pacey, fluid skating, penalty killing, aggravating, small-ish kind of guy who can score points, and it was such a complete package for anybody paying attention to the Carolina Hurricanes prospect systems. But as his career went on, you can see some of the numbers in the AHL. Things actually looked really good. Last year, he had 42 points in 65 games played with the Chicago Wolves, a very good metric for a guy who was only 22 years old at the time. The problem with Jamieson Rees was, this season, the Carolina Hurricanes and their development in the AHL kind of took a turn for the worse. They didn't really have an AHL team, and if you talk about some of the other movement going around with their prospects, it was very strange this year. And so, when you're taking a look at the numbers, you kind of have to look at this. Last year, the year before that. Don't look at this from this year, because you're just going to be disappointed. 4 points in 37 games played split between 2 teams is not good at all. But heading over to an Ottawa Senators squad, or a Belleville Senators squad, he'll be helping out because now this trade was made before the AHL trade deadline. With this trade in mind, it really bolsters up the quality of the Ottawa Senators prospect pool. You want to talk about the aggravative nature that a Ridley Gregg brings in. You want to talk about the pacing of play of some of these guys. Jamieson Rees is one of these players that will boost up that aspect of the Ottawa Senators and their prospects. This is a really, really good get, and I'm super surprised that the Carolina Hurricanes gave up on him for only a 6th-round pick. Now, I get it. You could say, wait a minute, his numbers are so bad this year. No wonder it was only a 6th-round pick. But if you're thinking about this from the Ottawa Senators' point of view, they traded themselves away a 6th-round pick for a 2nd-round guy a few years ago who was having a bad year, but who was at 40 points in 60 AHL games last year. That seems like a pretty big win, and Steve Staios is capitalizing on what is a prospect who is just in an unfavorable spot. If we go over to the Dalibor prospects reports, these are what was written about in regards to Jamieson Rees from as far back as the draft. He has been one of the most intriguing players in his post-draft season from a year ago, putting up a point-per-game performance in his draft year, albeit in just 37 games. The forward has now had a breakout campaign thus far. His 45 points in 24 games have been impressive, as he leads Sarnia in points per game and sits 10th in OHL scoring. Carolina has done a great job plugging undervalued second-rounders going back to 2012, with names such as Brock McGinn, Alex Nedeljkovic, Sebastian Aho, Kukkonen, Drury, and Luosterainen. They've all been found between picks 35 and 47. Looks like they've got another good one in Rees. February 2020, so a little bit after, Rees has been a big bright spot on the Sarnia Sting team that has struggled, tallying 58 points in 35 games. He was also named an OHL All-Star. Rees plays an aggressive game that fits the style of an NHL team, as he could fit in the same role as Brock McGinn and Jordan Martinook with the likely possibility of having more offense. He brings a higher level of physicality that would not be expected from players with a smaller size. Going over into 2021, he's a sandpaper-type player, much in the same mold as McGinn or Martinook with more offense. Rees brings a style of play that Rod Brind'Amour covets in his players night in and night out. And then if you go over into the AHL seasons he's had, Rees's third AHL season has come to an end, racking up 42 points in 65 games played. His development this year was nice, improving his point total by 18 from last year and becoming a great AHL pest. Rees will have every chance to prove himself to the Hurricanes in training camp, where he'll battle it out with some other young players for a spot on the roster. Now, we know that based off of what happened, he did not end up doing that. He wasn't a part of the Carolina Hurricanes roster, but seeing his development go all around the AHL to different teams in this way, where he's playing second fiddle and not really being given any opportunities, this was a really bad step in his development. Even going over to the Springfield Thunderbirds, I mean, he has to share the load with a bunch of St. Louis prospects, and then going over to the Charlotte Checkers, you would think that the Checkers, based off of their color wave and everything, are actually the Carolina Hurricanes farm team, but nah, they're the Florida Panthers farm team. So just seeing everything go down here, I mean, Jamieson Rees was in a pretty tough spot considering the Carolina Hurricanes AHL development paths with their guys. So yeah, it's going to be kind of tough to see. I mean, I'm kind of curious, just for curiosity's sake, let's go out there and look at some of these guys who are AHL Carolina guys. Where are they playing? So if we go over here, yeah, so Jack Drury is on the team. Tuukka Tiksola is in the Liga. Griffin Mendel's in the Chicago Wolves. Who is on the Wolves this year? A lot of other AHL guys? Yeah, okay, so they've had a few guys who are Carolina players, but for the most part, the Chicago Wolves have mostly operated as an independent team, not really affiliated with anybody. Yeah, Noel Gunler's in Karpat, Alexander Pashin's in the KHL, so this has been very, very strange to watch for the Carolina Hurricanes and their overall prospects development system, but for the Ottawa Senators, they're taking advantage of one of the guys who had just fallen out of the cracks in Jamieson Rees, as now he'll be going over most likely to Belleville and taking over his aggravative, goal-scoring, point-producing, fluid skating system over to Ottawa as well. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you are an Ottawa Senators fan, what are your opinions on acquiring Jamieson Rees for a 6th-round draft pick? I think this is an amazing trade for the Sens. Do you agree or disagree? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.